Brooklyn Independent Television.
Imagine taking a commonplace, everyday object and raising it to the level of extraordinary. That's what Joel Buckowitz did when he created Cut Brooklyn, a workshop based in Gowanus that turns ordinary steel into utilitarian works of beautiful cutlery.
My name is Joel Buckowitz, and we are at the Cut Brooklyn Workshop. The Cut Brooklyn Workshop is where I make my handmade kitchen knives. I went to graduate school, an MFA in fiction writing there, with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. And then after grad school, we wanted to finish these, the manuscripts of these novels that we'd started. So we moved down to a small town in South Georgia. At one point, I got quite frustrated and was like, I started to kind of despise what I was doing. I found that I had a need to make stuff. I didn't realize it, but that's kind of what I was doing when I was writing, is creating characters. I developed this need to do that. And if I didn't do it, I just felt just funny, you know? I started doing small things like building little pieces of furniture, pieces of jewelry, just to kind of keep my hands and my mind busy. It just felt better, it felt good. It just seemed like the kind of right thing to try to do, make a knife. I gave it a shot, and I made one, and it was like, after I was done, I had this horrible looking thing that wasn't even really a knife. I had no idea what kind of steel it was, so I couldn't harden it to make so it would hold an edge. But I was so proud of it, you know. After having worked so very long on something like a novel that was never going to see the light of day, and it was just like letters in my computer, you know. Making something, you know, in an afternoon that was useful and would always be around. It was like getting hit by a bolt of lightning. I was like, wow, that's awesome.
I developed an interest in making knives about a year or two ago. I got into it through blacksmithing, and then through a couple different classes, I fell in love with knife making. I think what I love about it is the combination of art and utility. Being able to do a craft with my hands that's actually going to be used by someone as a tool is a really amazing combination, and it feels really good to make it. It's like I started out with a sheet of metal, and then I cut out a chunk with a stenciled knife on it, and then I brought it here and profiled it into shape, and now I'm just kind of smoothing out the shape of the knife.
I just pushed into it, and I got a grinder deal and sort of researched how to do it properly. And you know, I had this sagging old garden shed behind our house. I was in that place till like 3 a.m. every night, just for like, you know, a year and a half, just working. And I got good at it pretty quickly. And I started selling these pieces. And I thought, you know, there's more chefs in New York than anywhere else on the planet. Give a shot at making kitchen knives. I designed one about a year before we were coming back here, and it took a long time to get right. There's, you know, very few lines to a kitchen knife. There's like 5 or 6 lines to it. But if you don't have those all just right, so that the knife moves the right way and it balances the right way, it's just, you know, it's no good.
All right, so at this point I've got this knife. The face of the handle here is all finished at 1000 grit. So now I have to, it's all got, you know, sharp edges here. So I have to sculpt in these edges on this wheel here. I do this all freehand, so I just have to sort of get the work rest out of there. It all has to be sort of symmetrical, you know. Grind in these angles and they all have to fit together right, or else it looks messed up.
This wood is tough to work with because these different areas, as you're grinding with the wheel, they're of like different densities. So you move along at an even pace, and it wants to grind more in one spot and less in the other. So, yeah, it's tough. So I'll do this, and then I have to get the tail over on that grinder. That'll just take a minute, and then I go upstairs and I hand sand these angles and even everything up. All these angles have to sort of match up in the right way. So the lines, you know, everything just has to be perfect, or close enough anyway. All right, I'm just cleaning them all up so they're straight and even. And then that's what I'm doing at this second. And then after they're even, I'll polish them. So higher and higher grits of sandpaper. A really fine finish, but it's kind of a matte finish.
It's a really great environment. I like the location, being right amidst all these other artists around here. Working for Joel has been really great. He really loves what he's doing, and it's really amazing for me to be around someone else who has the same interest in something that's so kind of random. There's not that many people making knives, especially making kitchen knives. So it's really been an amazing opportunity for me to learn a lot.
My knives, you know, they go for between $500 and $600 for a chef's knife, right? So foot traffic isn't really going to generate a lot of business for me. It's not, the pop-in isn't going to be like, oh yeah, I'll take one of those. In this spot on 3rd Ave, and the whole neighborhood is with 9th Street, this sort of main corridor, with the pie shop down. It's just like lucky, again. It's just like lucking into this stuff. But the neighborhood's like shaping up fast in this like fantastic, weird way.
Become a fan on Facebook, like Brooklyn Independent Television.